Hollywood Hills. It's going to be streamed online. Todd, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
How are you doing?
We are dealing with it. You know, my mother was a trooper, and she expected us to be troopers. And this is one of those times where you need to be a trooper. Circumstances are the agent, and you know, he has been glued to her side. And without him there, you know, I would be far more concerned. But
Your mom, when Carrie went into the hospital, what were the...
We all wanted to believe the best. My mother, I went back to my mom first, who was sitting in bed, had just woken up.
Morning.
That morning. And
So you think she knew?
no, well, I don't know what she was up to. Honestly, the way it looked to me is we're just going over the estate again, and yes, something radical happened, so we're making change. At that point said, you know, I really miss Carrie. And I'm like, yes, I do too, of course. And she said, I know, like, just sort of reflecting. And I said, well, of course, you know. And she was like, I don't mean I don't love you. And I'm like, of course, you don't need to say that, you know.
Yeah.
And then she said, and in that regard, at that moment, you know, I was responding in an emergency. So we took her to the hospital, we did all these things, and I wasn't really reflecting. But when we went to the hospital and the doctor told me what really had happened, because they did an MRI, news, you know.
The ones who could do that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, poetic and beautiful. And so, awesome.
Incredible childhood. We want to hear what it was like growing up.
The pictures.
Fisher. We've got all of that. Seen from the documentary Bright Lights, starring Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, which premiered on HBO just days after the deaths of both mother and daughter.
Well, we're back on Access Hollywood Live with Todd Fisher. His mom and sister will be celebrated Saturday at a public memorial service here in Los Angeles. Were you always going to do a public memorial?
No, we did a couple of private services that were people. They both did. And the stories are amazing stories. Some of them are intense, you know, like people who stepped out of relationships because they felt they had the power to do it, because if Carrie could do it, I can do it. If Carrie can overpower mental illness, I can.
100 seats available. How do they go about, how do people?
No, we have opened the outside as well. There's a very big courtyard there. We're more like, let's just be prepared. Little Boy Scout. We got Fisher Stevens involved, the director. Collectively, with their cooperation, it's amazing because of Carrie, coincidentally. So they were always involved in this. But watching that clip now, you know, you more happy than I'd ever seen her, because she was very much okay. You know, being a woman, you guys understand, you great, he'll age great, he'll go on, and there are very few women at his age who can have a career, unless, except Meryl Streep. But you know,
I
have
hold
one
it up
on,
right
but
now.
she's got one.
You're wearing it right now. This is this,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
It just incredibly touched me. It was like, wow, it just said so much. And so there's a lot more than just, you know, the things that are obvious. There's a lot of this going around. When I traveled the country when we were doing, but to deal with it is a mystery in many ways. All the people that use tough love on their children, all those kids are dead. So my mother was like, I'd rather have
Love.
Aww.
Well, Todd, thanks for doing this. The public memorial for Debbie and Carrie is at
Toe-to-toe with Elizabeth Banks in the long-awaited night.